Hi, I want to continue with part 3 of the study that I've been going through. Is God causing the natural disasters and wars going on around the world today? First of all, I want to begin with what is the job as a Christian? What am I doing with this? For all of you who are surfing the internet, you've stumbled upon this YouTube. Well, many of us Christians think that our job is to bring hope into a dying world. Believe it or not, the scriptures does not say that my job is to bring hope into the dying world. You know why? Because Jesus already came, and he's going to come again. So we don't bring Jesus, he already came. So that makes my job a lot easier. Nobody could bring hope into a dying world except for God, except for Jesus. And if you're struggling right now, and you're wondering why these things are going on, how could God do such cruel things, or how can God allow such cruel things? And if you read the scriptures, you can find out with an open heart and an open mind. But I want to begin with 3 stories that I have witnessed as myself as the first responder after the 2004 hurricanes in Florida in the South United States, and the 2005 and 2006 hurricanes Katrina, and then a year later Hurricane Rita. First in 2004, I was near Fort Myers, and us first responders with the group that I was with, we arrived a week after a tragedy happened with the senior citizen couple. They both did a double suicide with the handgun. They said they could not stand not one more earthquake, and little did they know that that hurricane, little did they know that that 5th hurricane, which was the only time that 5 hurricanes came simultaneously within a 30-day period since the 1800s in Texas. So they couldn't stand not one more hurricane. And we wish that we could have been there before that had happened, but we were going door to door, and as a result of that, the leader of our first responder ministry was actually able to meet in an open air meeting with the hundreds of people in the mobile home community at once in an open air meeting, just to share the love of Christ and to offer Christ and to offer hope through Jesus, because only Jesus could bring hope. We can present Jesus, and that's what our job is. And that could be difficult enough at times, and sometimes it could be a little easier. In any case, it's a blessing to those who go. So we encountered that situation. In 2006, I was in the St. Bernard Parish in New Orleans, and it was the year after Katrina had happened. And I met a man, and he came up to where we were at, handing out food, and he looked like a zombie. He didn't have any life in him whatsoever. He was just like a walking, lifeless man, and we didn't know quite how to approach him. But regardless, one of the team members approached him and began talking with him. And eventually we ended up praying with him, and he accepted Jesus in his life, and he told us that he had never been so happy in his whole life. And I wish I had a before or after photo of him, but I do have a photo of him afterwards. He looked like he was standing in front of the Lord. He had so much joy and happiness about him. But we learned from his story that he was able to tell us that 4 weeks before Katrina had happened, his wife died of cancer. And then 4 weeks after that, he lost his home. It was totally and utterly destroyed, and he had no insurance. What he was doing that whole year between the time of Katrina and the time that he met us, I don't know, but it's only God's hand that could have kept him going long enough to where somebody would be able to share the gospel with him. That same year, we heard of another first responder that was in Mississippi at the time with our organization, and as a result of the horrible stories that he had witnessed, he had killed himself. So we know that disasters are horrible. They come at the wrong times. There's no right time for a disaster. And continuing, I want to say that only Jesus can turn a man who has been destroyed with no reason to live into a happy man. And with that, I want to go to John chapter 7, and I want to recap what we went through in parts 1 and parts 2 of this series. Isaiah chapter 13, Zechariah chapter 14, and Matthew chapter 24, and John chapter 7. Read those whole chapters. And I want to go to verse 37 and 38 of John chapter 7 right now. On the last and greatest day of the feast, Jesus stood and said in a loud voice, "If anyone is thirsty, let him come to me and drink. Whoever believes in me, as the scripture has said, streams of living water will flow from within him." And he's quoting a prophecy that says streams of living water will flow. And that prophecy was given a couple of 1,500, 2,000 years before that in the book of Isaiah, chapter 12, verse 3, which reads, "With joy you will draw water from the wells of salvation. In that day you will say, 'Give thanks to the Lord, call on his name.'" Why are they going to be giving thanks to his name? Because they were living in a time of oppression from other countries. And when Jesus had come, as a result of prophecy being fulfilled, the deliverer, they gave thanks because the blind were able to see, the lame was able to walk, the deaf were able to hear. And that's going on right now. Jesus said that these same things that I do, you shall do, and even greater things. Now in chapter 11, verses 1 through 3, and this is a little bit more of how Jesus was prophesied in the book of Isaiah. And that's important in presenting Jesus to people, because Jesus was prophesied thousands of years earlier and fulfilled in his day and time. So verses 1 through 3, it says, "A shoot will come up from the stump of Jesse. From the roots a branch will bear fruit. The Spirit of the Lord will rest on him, and the Spirit of wisdom and of understanding, the Spirit of counsel and of power, the Spirit of knowledge and of fear of the Lord. And he will delight in the fear of the Lord. He will not judge by what he sees with his eyes, or decide by what he hears with his ears." So I want to offer you a challenge. Go to, if you have a Bible, or find a Bible, the book of Isaiah chapters 11, 12, and 13. And in chapter 13, you will see that God prophesies in these end times, because of man's wickedness, he is going to cause earthquakes and disasters and wars. And we know what's going on all across northern Africa and all the way around Israel. And it's all going to end in Israel if you read the book I'm telling you, the book of Zechariah in chapter 14. Also read Matthew chapter 24 and John chapter 7. And I pray that you ask Jesus into your heart. So when these calamities come, more is coming. I believe it's going to come to Southern California. We haven't had so many bad earthquakes here, but we see how they're, in the Richter scale, they're getting higher and higher and higher. It was an 8.9 in Haiti, and it was a 9.1 or a 9 in Japan just last week. And I'm no different from anybody else. If disaster comes to my hometown, Job said that God gives and God can take away. It's up to him. But what I know is, what gives me comfort is that if my body dies, I'm going to be with the Lord, and that's what I want to happen with you also. Go with the Lord through Jesus. Jesus says that the only way to the Father is through me. I am the way and the life. No man enters heaven except through me. So read about Jesus, learn about Jesus. And another thing Jesus says, learn of me. And all who come to me, I will in no wise cast out. It doesn't matter who you are, if you're a Muslim, if you're a Buddhist, if you're Jewish. read the New Testament. That is my challenge. I'm Mike Tobin, and this has been a 60-second workout.